What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates. And yes, of course, this week we get shiny stuff. And I'm talking about the new exotic bow. As we've discovered, the future upgrades for the weapon will be dropping starting from next week. We'll talk a little bit about the quest and also a cheese for the final boss inside of this exotic mission. But then we've got some updates from Bungie today, and it looks like Destiny will get one more patch before the quiet holiday period. On top of that, Bungie have some warnings about character creation during the Dawning. They talk about some missing rewards and fixes they have planned for future updates. And then lastly, Bungie have a few final updates before the end of the year. And so we'll round everything up in the video, guys. As always, I hope you enjoy this one, but without further delay, let's get into it. And so firstly, Bungie Help tweeted, incoming Destiny 1 and 2 maintenance for update 7304, and the timeline is today, December 20th, where players are expected to be removed from servers at 6:15 AM, and then the expected login time will be 9 AM, that's Pacific time, when presumably we will get that patch for the game, so it'll be interesting to see what fixes and things are in that update, and I'll keep you posted. Up next though, a couple of heads up from Bungie, and they say, due to an issue, we recommend that players do not create a new character during the Dawning until a fix can be deployed, otherwise earned Dawning materials will be lost. And so basically, if you have an established account and you've been playing the Dawning, if you go ahead and make another character on that account, it's possible to lose all of the Dawning materials inside your inventory for whatever reason. So just keep that in mind. Of course, it probably won't affect brand new players, as they won't have been playing the Dawning anyway, but just an obscure warning to be aware of right there. And Bungie Help have also said they're aware that the Dawning's event card timer currently displays an incorrect end date, and that Dawning will end on January 2nd, 2024. But in terms of future updates, they say they've been tracking reports of players being removed from the coil for inactivity while spectating when out of revive tokens, and a change to help with this is planned for early January. In the meantime though, you can open a menu or regularly press buttons to avoid being kicked, which is an absolutely quality workaround right there. But just keep in mind, when spectating on a death screen, it is possible to be kicked if you don't interact whatsoever. Bungie have also said they have a fix for a very loud audio glitch inside of the coil. This can happen when inspecting Riven's menu, and a fix for that is planned to go out with the next update in January. But separate from game updates, it had been reported that the Season of Undying armor would be available this week, but it hasn't showed up in the Eververse store just yet. And so perhaps Bungie have either changed the dates around, pulled the armor set entirely, or it could just be that the sources that had suggested it would be this week weren't correct. We'll simply have to wait and see, but the assumption is that these will still be available at some point during the season. Otherwise, we did get access to the new exotic mission, Starcrossed, to pick up the Wishkeeper exotic bow. I certainly thought it was a pretty fun mission, and of course the bow will get catalyst upgrades. We kind of expected that we'd probably get one of them on the first week, but so far none of them have been found, so presumably the first of these upgrades will roll out next week at the weekly reset, and are earned via repeated runs of the mission, so we'll have to hold on for that one. But otherwise, players have already discovered a bit of a cheese for the final boss in Starcrossed, and so in the boss arena right here, above the two pools where we can pick up the buffs, there is a ledge that you can just about jump up to, where there's a sort of Vex barrier, but if you push yourself against that barrier, it's possible to shoot through with a handful of different weapons, while taking 0 damage from the boss. And this clip right here was shared by the Sleepy Hyena on Reddit, so credit to them for that. But if you're perhaps running it solo, or having a harder time with the boss on Legend difficulty or something like that, this might be something to take advantage of before Bungie go ahead and fix it. Otherwise though, give us your impressions of the Wishkeeper bow down in the comment section. And of course, we've got a pretty cool cinematic after the completion of that mission, where we've got a bit more backstory from Riven and their mate, in this cool kind of sad love story about Ahamkaras. Kind of caught me off guard, that cutscene, as we came out of the mission, so if you've yet to play it, definitely keep your eyes peeled as you complete it. In some other quick news associated with Destiny, firstly, Morro Garandona, who's the voice actor for Eris Morn, has been nominated for the best voice performance for her role as Eris in Season of the Witch. And so that's pretty cool. The awards will take place on March 21st, 2024. So good luck to Morro on that one. Of course, Eris has been with us for quite some time, and generally is a reasonably popular character in Destiny, I believe, so hopefully she'll be able to snag a win right there. But in other updates, Bungie shared some stats for a bunch of items and different activities in 2023. And firstly, they point out that during the crafting, when the crafting glitch happened on weapons, there were 2.8 million weapons crafted during that, of which 559,000 were the Amit AR2. And of course, it turned out to be one of the more bonkers weapons during that glitch. So absolutely massive number of weapons crafted there, 2.8 million. And what the glitch was active for sort of a week or so. So that is a lot of crafting. But then for Crota's End, this year there have been 16.4 million attempts by 1.1 million Guardians, with 6.2 million clears. And for Root of Night Nightmares, it was 28.7 million attempts by 1.6 million Guardians, for a total of 14.8 million clears. Then with the Warlord's Ruin, so far we've seen 4.9 million attempts by 687,000 Guardians and 2 million clears. But versus Ghosts of the Deep, the other dungeon from this year, that had 19.8 million attempts by 1.3 million Guardians and 8.4 million clears. So quite a big difference between each of those activities, especially a large difference between the two dungeons right there. But of course, Ghosts of the Deep has been out for a few months and Warlord's Ruin is still pretty new. Although it does look like Warlord's Ruin overall will probably end up with less clears than what Ghosts did, although that's probably reflecting player numbers in general at the moment. So share your thoughts on those, but there's a quick update about Fireteam Finder. Of course, the launch for it has been very successful overall, but Bungie say they are going to leave the beta tag on for a bit longer, as they want to make some small updates like adding emojis, as well as some bug fixes. But they promise not to run the beta as long as Guided Games had it, and of course that was literally for all of its life before it was stopped. And they say for Fireteam Finder they're hoping to remove the beta tag early next year. But they've shared additional stats for Fireteam Finder, with dungeons seeing 43%, raids seeing 26%, and free roam being 21% for the top 3 activities. So very interesting that free roam is actually pretty high on that list. But also plenty of lost sectors are being cleared as well. We can see Aphelion's Rest gets 84% of the clears, Bay of Drowned Wishes is 77, Scavenger's Den 73, with Skydock being 73 as well, and then the Quarry at 70%. So quite interesting how many players are actually LFGing for lost sectors, perhaps farming gunsmith engrams and things like that, as of course, exotic drops are for solo clears. So some curious stats I would say, but share your thoughts on those. And then, for known issues right here, they do point out that they're aware that purchasing Riven's gifts in Riven's Lair can result in an extremely loud noise. That's the one that they're going to fix early on in January. There are a couple of bugs for Warlord's Ruin, and they've recognised that the health of the bubble generated by the Edge of Action glaive is lower than intended, and that the Coil 100k point weekly challenge may not successfully reset weekly. So a few things there, but of course, as they've said, January will be the next point where we get a game update. So some bugs in the game, including the snowball upgrades and the various janky sandbox elements that aren't working correctly for the Dawning, and it would appear that those aren't going to be fixed whatsoever during the event. So kind of a weird one on that front, but I'll keep you posted when we get more information about Bungie's updates early in 2024. The very final mention right here, but Stream Hatchet have announced a partnership with gaming powerhouse Bungie. This isn't something I'd heard of previously, but according to the press release, Stream Hatchet's partnership with Bungie will collaborate to leverage their sophisticated analytics tools, providing Bungie with deep insights into audience interactions on various live streaming and social media platforms. And the deal encompasses the use of Sidekick's influencer CRM technology, which is there to grow and manage Bungie's network of creators and affiliates. And they say they're delighted to offer Bungie critical data and insights required to amplify their engagement within the gaming world. And they say this will enable a data-centric approach to refining content strategies and strengthening ties with the community itself. And they'll also assist Bungie in planning and benchmarking their game releases and content, ensuring that each new launch resonates powerfully within a gaming community and achieves maximum impact. And so potentially this is some outsourcing that Bungie are doing following the layoffs around their sort of Q&A, marketing and community teams. And obviously it's meant to improve Bungie's impact in terms of marketing and relationships with the players of the game. So it's kind of a mixed bag of what that may affect. Of course, this will also probably be used for Marathon down the road, but it indicates that Bungie are thinking about and sort of working on community engagement, ways to maintain the current player base, but also potentially expand and improve their marketing to new players. So there are quite a few elements there. And we know Bungie right now are certainly working hard on trying to make the final shape as good as it can be, as it's going to be a pivotal moment for the future of the Destiny franchise. And so this marketing and community relationships arm of Bungie is certainly an important one. Although I would say overall that the game will speak for itself, right? If the game does things well, then it will probably be received well and people will want to play it. Whereas you can't really improve marketing strategies or sentiment from a player base if the game isn't doing the right stuff. So it definitely is part of a bigger picture, but nonetheless, I thought it was worth a quick mention in the video. And for today, guys, that's what we have to speak about in this one. So as always, I hope it's been interesting. And if it has, a rating below very much helps us out. I'll be doing my best to keep the content flowing over the holiday period. So if you want to see more Destiny content, definitely get subscribed and hit that notification bell icon down below so that I can keep you posted as soon as we have new conversations and info. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in today as always, and whatever you get up to, I hope you guys have an awesome day.